Welcome to the land of ancient pyramids, mighty kingdoms, epic trade routes, and one of Africa's most complex modern political journeys. This is the story of Sudan, a nation shaped by civilization, faith, empire, and conflict, yet filled with cultural brilliance and the spirit of resilience. Let's travel through time from ancient Nubia to today. Long before modern borders, Sudan was home to Nubia, one of the world's earliest civilizations along the Nile. Powerful African kingdoms rose here, Kerma Napata and Meru, often rivals and later rulers of ancient Egypt. The kingdom of Kerma c. 2500 to 1500 BCE was one of Africa's first urban centers, skilled in agriculture, trade, and metallurgy. And it rivaled pharaonic Egypt. After Egypt weakened, Nubia rose again as Kush. From the city of Napata, Kushite kings marched north and ruled Egypt as the 25th dynasty, known as the Black Pharaohs. They restored temples, revived arts, and defended Africa's cultural identity. Later, power shifted south to Meru, famous for iron production. Royal women wielding power, the legendary Kandakes, queens, and over 200 pyramids, more than Egypt itself. Ancient Sudan was a center of African strength and innovation. As Egypt became Christian, Nubia adopted Christianity too, and three kingdoms emerged: Nobasha, Makuria, and Alodia. They built cathedrals, developed art, and defended against early Islamic expansion. Makuria's victory at Dongola in 652 CE led to a rare treaty, enabling peaceful coexistence with Muslim Egypt for centuries. But over time, trade routes shifted, internal conflicts rose, and by the 1500s, Christian Nubia faded. Islam spread gradually through Arab traders and intermarriage. The Funj Sultanate of Sennar, founded in 1504, ruled much of central and northern Sudan, blending African-Arab and Islamic traditions that helped shape modern Sudanese identity. At the same time, Darfur rose as a powerful independent sultanate in the west, thriving on Saharan trade routes. Sudan became culturally diverse: Arab, Nubian, African, Muslim, a mosaic that still defines the nation today. In 1821, Egypt's ruler Muhammad Ali invaded Sudan under the Ottoman Empire to expand territory, control the Red Sea, and capture resources, tragically including slaves. Sudanese communities faced harsh taxation and forced labor. Resistance simmered and soon exploded. In 1881, a Sudanese religious leader named Muhammad Ahmed declared himself the Mahdi, the guided one in Islam. He united tribes and launched a national uprising, defeated Egyptian and British forces, captured Khartoum in 1885, and established an independent, modest state. But after the Mahdi's death, leadership struggles and foreign pressure weakened the state. Britain returned in 1898 under General Kitchener, defeating modest forces at Omdurman, and Sudan became a joint British-Egyptian colony, though Britain held the real power. Colonial rule featured separate governance of North and South, investment in the north, and neglect in the south. An infrastructure and a cotton economy built for British benefit. These divisions planted seeds for future conflict, while nationalism grew as students, workers, and religious leaders demanded freedom. On January 1st, 1956, Sudan became independent, the first sub-Saharan African country to do so, a moment of pride and hope, but challenges quickly emerged. The First Sudanese Civil War, 1955 to 1972, began even before independence. Rooted in regional, ethnic, and religious tensions between the North and South, and ended with the Addis Ababa Agreement in 1972, bringing only temporary peace. Leaders came and went, often by force. 1958 saw the first military coup. 1964, a popular uprising restored civilian rule. In 1969, a coup brought Jafar Nimeri to power. Nimeri's rule shifted from socialism to Islamic law, heightening tensions with the South. In 1983, the Second Sudanese Civil War erupted after Sharia law was imposed, and southern autonomy was revoked. Led by the SPLM-SPLA under John Garang, southern resistance grew as over 2 million lives were lost and millions were displaced in one of Africa's worst humanitarian crises. In 1989, Omar al-Bashir seized power, and his rule was marked by Islamist governance, international isolation, and allegations of human rights abuses. In Darfur from 2003, non-Arab ethnic groups rebelled against government discrimination while government-backed Janjaweed militias attacked civilians, resulting in tens of thousands killed, millions displaced, and Bashir becoming the first sitting president indicted by the International Criminal Court for genocide. After decades of war, the 2005 peace agreement paved the way for the 2011 independence of South Sudan, Africa's newest country. Sudan lost a third of its land and three-quarters of its oil reserves, and peace remained fragile as both countries faced economic hardship and internal conflicts. In 2019, Sudanese citizens rose up with nationwide protests demanding change, and on April 11, 2019, Bashir was removed after 30 years in power. A transitional government was formed with military and civilians sharing power, hope returned, and democracy felt close. But challenges were not over. In 2023, power struggles erupted between the Sudanese armed forces and the rapid support forces evolved from Janjaweed. Militias and fighting spread across the country, especially in Khartoum and Darfur. Millions were displaced amid a severe humanitarian crisis and fears of renewed civil war. Yet across Sudan, movements continue pushing for peace, justice, and civilian leadership. Sudan's past is filled with ancient brilliance, colonial struggles, civil wars, and revolutions for freedom, and despite hardship, the Sudanese spirit remains unbroken. This land gave the world ancient queens, mighty empires, scholars, poets, and revolutionaries, and its people continue, fighting not for power but for peace, dignity, and a future they deserve. From Nubian pyramids to modern revolution, Sudan's history is powerful, a reminder that even through struggle, hope rises. What part of Sudan's history surprised you the most? The ancient kingdoms, the resistance movements, or the modern revolution?